Hello Visitor Internets and welcome to this video where today I have Mr. Brobbly back. It has a tiny exhaust. I mean, never ceases to surprise me looking at that. And DPS Everything Else has commented that it's basically too low to the ground because I got scared it would tip over and I lowered it too much. How much power does this have? I really forget. Oh, 60 horsepower. I thought it was more like 30. Anyway, there is our inline 4 engine because the inline 3 was shaking itself to pieces. And basically, he said the roads were in a bit much of a state and everything, and it wouldn't work to have a car this low. However, having said that, I believe that it may make more sense to just change the body. Because having looked at this, it is a very tall body. I did what I could to make it work, but I think this one is probably the better one. So this will all make sense, believe me, when it's done. And ooh, it looks slightly ridiculous. It looks like something from Mario or whatever else you might think of. Anyway, we have longitudinal. For some reason, we don't have transfer. Oh, yes, it's the age. My mistake. I'm just being stupid. We can't change the age because it's the 1940s. So we want this to be an affordable car, right? Now we can't go with a V4, remember, although we can go with a Boxer 4 or a Flat 4, as I guess you could call it. This, I'm thinking I have a plan here. It'll be a short engine and it'll be a low engine, so that will really help with packaging for this overall vehicle. I'm not going to do this all now, I'll come back to it a bit later. It's essentially dual overhead cam as well. That's going to add money, but again, I'll save a bit of money there. All will be explained in due time. I have factored in that I'm going to lose, most probably at least, lose some rear seats, because that's the way things are. However, just looking at this, it should be fine. I mean, I don't think we're going to have the biggest problems. Lamborghini headlight, yeah. Well, that's our work in progress design. I'll remove those, don't worry. I know they're hideously irrelevant to the era, but that's fine for the time being. We can go rear wheel drive or 4x4. I think the answer to that is clear by now. We have Family Utility Premium is where it's showing up, which I think might have been where it was showing up before, and oh dear. This is basically a van, isn't it? So, what do we have? Do we have any choice? No. That's strange, even though it's got back windows, I can't add rear most seats, rather. So what do we have? We have this, which is 2.6 meters long. What was the one I was using? That was 2.7 and very narrow. Ooh. This one, if I get the kind of estate body on this, I might be able to fit a fair few people on here, kind of work my MPV magic while having something that doesn't look like a complete death trap, and that isn't as narrow as a complete death trap might be. The other one, I guess, was essentially a key truck, but I'm not certain. So we have a decent number of seats here. It's not as many as before, but it's still a decent number. We need it to be affordable, okay? So I'm going to change the suspension and stuff as well. Don't worry about that. We'll go markets. That's where we need to be. There's various countries we can look through. I thought maybe I could look through one of these. See how they're doing. Post-war. Family Sport. That's interesting because they have a lot of money in Arcania. And it's supposed to be an affordable car at its heart. But I do have to commit to some cost saving to try and keep it working at an affordable level. I think fun here, if I can keep it to fun, because it's reasonably affordable. I think Deluha is Germany, but if I can make it a fun little people's car, I guess that's what the nation really wants, isn't it? So It doesn't have to be stupidly sporty, but it just has to work. We don't have any power steering or anything of that kind. Basic interior. I'm thinking I don't know. My mind is kind of divided on that one. How about go with basic? That should save a bit of money. And then... no. Okay, I'll try basic. See how well I can get that working. No. You want 3 seats? Do you want another seat there? No, you don't. Okay, so this is generally more of a family car than it was before. I'm thinking... I'm not disappointed with this kind of default height either. Even though it's a ladder frame, remember. Unitary I don't think has been invented yet, so it's either ladder or space frame. And yeah, quite frankly, for a people's car, a space frame is out of it. Maybe we should go with steel instead of galvanized? No. It doesn't make enough cost difference to make it worthwhile. Panel material, well, there's aluminium, but it's limited production only. So, I guess if we were willing to make them in limited numbers, but I'm not willing to do that. I want it to be affordable. So, double wishbone front and rear. Although, we could go with leaf springs front and rear. That would save money, but it's not really a fun car, is it? That's the problem. So, I might have to divert my marketing strategy. Unless I can get coils to work, which I maybe could. No, I'll go with double wishbone front if it needs it, but I don't want to go really any different from that, because I want to keep this affordable. Wait, so solid axle leaf. I wonder if I could go 4x4. That would make it interesting. Now, this is definitely too high. From what I've seen on European cars, this is definitely a little too high. I could lower it some. I'm thinking the best way to do it would probably be to lower it, but kind of lower it within reason. So, if I go for comfort, normal, off-road utility takes it quite well, but the problem is off-road, again, it will have to be stupidly high, and I don't want something that's at risk of tipping over. Utility, it does quite well, actually. So, forget fun. We have off-road utility, and we have utility where it's actually very, very affordable, at least in this region. So, I think if we go with utility suspension, they will probably like it. They don't quite like it so much if I go with other suspension types, but normal does pretty well under utility, off-road and race. So, utility suspension is very, very high. I've essentially built an SUV by this stage. Come on. No, it just resists lowering. I don't know. So if I go with double wishbone on the front, will it get just that bit lower? I'm interested now if I can actually get my Windows taskbars to go away. That's a thing. Right. The engine is a complete mess, remember, and we're already scoring quite well. Well, it's kind of the settings of the other engine, but I imagine it not working that well in its current form. Yeah, that'll work. We don't have McPherson strut options, so how about coils on the front? How does that work? We can easily get it low enough then with leaf springs on the back. But I can't have leaf springs on the front, or they just hold the kind of ride height back too much, for lack of a better way of putting it. How does this look? Looks very, very high off the ground. So I think we'll have to go with double wishbone on the front and leaf springs on the rear, which is a fairly typical suspension layout for the other day. I think at least in ladder-framed vehicles, so I'm pretty proud of that. Even if I can't manage to get leaf springs all around, as I guess, originally set out to do on my quest to build this car back in the day when I was doing that episode. So 80.7, 81.7. Yeah, they reacted quite well there. At 1.81.7, that's where I want to aim to get the wide height at, because the market seems to enjoy that. And indeed, that's where I want it to be. It's perhaps lower than it could be, and I guess that's the ideal wide height. It's more of a utility vehicle as well than I would have expected, but so be it. You know, at this point I've built a decent utility vehicle that people can enjoy. Do they want a van in utility? Ah, they want a pickup truck. That's the thing. We might even have a pickup truck. If I could get a twin cab pickup truck, although it's unlikely, if I could get somehow a twin cab pickup truck on this. Could get a single cab with this body. I want it to have passenger potential though, so unless I can get a twin cab, it's really out of it. What about the marketing? Markets. Is there anything else that it might do particularly well at? It scores very well for budget on fun, but utility does well on market statistics. I'll pin that for the time being, and then I'll look in different regions, see what they can do in terms of affording it. I think Deluha is Germany, though. I'm not sure, but I think that's the case. Arcania, that's, again, not doing very well for statistics, though. And to be honest, the money isn't that good either. Although it's better than alternatives that are in some of these regions. It looks like Deluha is probably the best shot we've got at selling this thing. Because of the cost, we can keep it very cheap and still have a vehicle that's half decent at the end of it all. So what else have we got? We've got the flat engine. It's actually the type of engine used in the Beetle, a flat 4. So hey, it's a strange coincidence that this is going to Germany. You know, we have about the same power statistics as we had before. Now, will the utility. Actually, what was I doing? I was going to try and get into fun, wasn't I? Because we could perhaps do that. No. It's a war utility vehicle, I think we can gather. 86.2. Okay. 80. Ooh. Did I just see that? Did it go 80.3 on utility? Ah, so normal, weirdly, is actually better now. It's got a lower wide height. That's probably part of the reason. But nonetheless, 86.13. So if we raise it up under the normal suspension settings just a little, it is going for a utility kind of prospect. So yeah, we have to keep it somewhat tall off the ground to avoid grazing itself on rocks and whatever else. I'm happy with that wide height. The question is, will it tip over? I would say most probably not. Normal, remember, it isn't really soft comfort suspension. Like, did I accidentally click on comfort? I hope not. No. We've still got 87.4. Got really basic suspension because it's the only thing that's around. Utility is the only thing. For safety, we have to have the best safety on utility. This is Deluha. Ah, there's quality sliders. I didn't mess with the quality sliders. I probably should. To see if I can reduce a bit of quality here and there. Nope, you don't want to get reduced. I don't want to increase it though, because it'll mean we can make less of a certain thing, most likely. And sometimes it will just add weight. How about, ooh, that actually jumps it up quite a lot for next to no cost. Sometimes it does make that difference, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, before when I was playing with it, remember, it didn't make a difference as such. But now it does. Can we reduce the quality of that interior? I think we could actually, just ever so slightly. No, we couldn't. They did start to notice something was up. Yeah, off-road skid tray again. Utility is probably one of those areas where an off-road skid tray is appreciated because they, you know, might take it on a bit of a gravel or whatever, and having that skid tray there to stop some damage is always useful. Anyway, that is kind of how it goes. They might want more in the terms of braking, but we can't because the wheels are that big and the wheels stop the brakes getting any bigger. Utility. I think I was going for a bit of sportiness before, but this is now an overall utility vehicle, which is more what people need after the war, let's be honest. They need to rebuild roads and everything. So, 100... What am I saying? I don't know. Medium. 145s. So, 150. Ooh, if I stagger the tyres... I mean, I know I wouldn't expect to do that, but if I do stagger those tyres, and then if I do this actually, I can have a fairly attractive vehicle by just bringing these out, but not too much. Obviously, I don't want those wheels really bought out loads, but if I do that, I can actually have a fairly attractive vehicle at the end of it. So, what have we got here? We could extend the tail out. This is rear-wheel drive, so unlike a lot of the front-wheel drives I've built, it actually matters having good weight balance. The engine, here, as you'll see it does look like it hangs over the front end a bit, but that's fine because we've changed it to a flat engine now. So, once this is exported to BeamNG.Drive, there will be basically half that length, or maybe a bit more if I make the engine bigger, like I think I just did, actually. But still, it won't be that terrible. And there we go. This isn't a half unattractive vehicle, and then it is a half unattractive vehicle on the other side of it. I'm surprised. This is probably one of the best vehicles I've built now, and all I did was really change the suspension and body type. Speaking of which, the number of seats, do they still want that number of seats? Yes. I mean, it's weird, they want a pickup truck body, but they want 5 seats, so I guess they just want the most practical utilitarian vehicle they can, and if it's not a truck, then an estate is probably the next best thing. So, 12-inch tyres. Now, this brings up an interesting conundrum. We can make the tyres themselves a little bigger, indeed. Problem being with such that... Wait a minute. 95.3. Can you go 95.5? 96. Oh, that's slightly scary, actually. Slightly sketchy, even. I mean, the weird tyres being wider, that would be a very unconventional thing to do back in the 1940s. But hey, if automation thinks it's going to be so mighty and good, then who am I to oppose? It might just work so much better. Then we've got the ability, I'd say. No, we've not got the ability to add beyond that, but we've got the ability to add 150s and 13-inch wheels, which are slightly bigger, and they don't like that when there's less sidewall. But I need the bigger wheels to have bigger brakes to slow this thing down with some kind of decency. So yeah, swings and roundabouts and all. 96.2. There we go. I wouldn't want to go any bigger tyres than that though. So 95.8. I'm going to work it at 600, I think. That still looks too big personally to me. I just don't think a car would ship with wheels this big. So 150s is now as big as they'll go. I'm kind of running on the limit of what I can do with cross-ply tyres, for lack of a better term. Ooh, they're ready for hard, long-life tyres now, though, which is an interesting thing. 97.1. And how about now? No, you don't want to be any wider. Okay. Just this tiny tyre tweaking has actually gained me a lot. 97.1. I don't suppose you want four-wheel drive, do you? No, I didn't think you would. The Lamborghini lights, I think I put them on, but they were gone because I changed the body. Okay. There's the truck. Probably wouldn't do any better though, especially not with its 2 seats and everything. I mean, this is so good. It's almost 100% on both statistics. Now, sure, I've got like 130 on just the top statistic, but it's wherever I get 100-ish on the bottom and 100-ish on the top as well. Because as far as I know, they're like very good balanced statistics. I think if I go up to 1.8 on the flat 4, I'm not sure how on earth the market will interpret that. They don't really like it, probably due to the extra cost. Well, actually, no, it sounds strange, but it got to a certain point and they stopped liking it. If I keep it at a 1.7, I think just about, that should be good. Quite a large engine for the day, actually, as a matter of fact. And we will go and see if we can add a bit of power. No, you don't like adding power? Maybe they just don't like adding power then. Beats me. So, we could go with a twin carburetor there, or a single carburetor. No, they like eco. Performance? No. So, do we need any extra exhaust? Ooh, we can go with a dual exhaust system now. That's interesting. 97.1 I saw. Come on. I don't know why it's dropped, though, to 97. It was at almost 100, wasn't it? Unless I'm confusing the values. So, we can go with tubular, can go with short cast, and we can go with cast log. They do like some cast log as we do that. Ooh. I don't know why the market likes cast log. I have to look at this. 122 on the torque. Maybe it's torque. Don't get me wrong, I've not looked into it. No. Well, if the market likes cast log, who am I to complain? It reduces the power, but I guess if it's simple and cheap and they just like a lesser powered engine, it actually struggles to fit in. It struggles to fit in a different way to how I would have thought, but hey, it's still reasonably enough sized. Everything on this car that's sophisticated is at the front. At the back, it's a good old leaf sprung setup with just that live axle, and then it's just no complicated unnecessary engines either back there. So very, very simple back there. I think if I actually lower this, I wonder, actually I have quite a high revving potential from it. Maybe it's because it's dual overhead cam technically. Or not overhead cam even, it's just twin cam. But either way, we do have a lot of potential to rev. Like 7,000 for an old engine from the 40s. That's not half bad. Now how can I keep this a fairly balanced power curve? I want to keep it fairly reasonable. So about 60 something. 67 might do the trick. I'll give that a try. Come on. I don't know. So that's kind of jumped it up just a bit to 4,100 RPM. And can we somehow mess with the ignition timing to get our power back but keep the higher RPM nature of the engine? There we go. It makes less power. How? I guess because I've completely messed it up, but anyway. So, anyway. Will it ever return to the nature it was? Come on. 58. And I'm getting more power by bringing the cam profile down. I wouldn't have expected that. So, 4,000 RPM, I think that's a bit higher than before. And I think I might have made it perform better, but somehow I've made it worse for value in the markets. Okay, 43 on the ignition timing, that works well. So where is it? 78.5, 99.7. Oh, it's the larger exhaust that did it. But making it 60 horsepower again and 25.4 millimeters, that works. We're just about doing well. We went into valve float though. Ah, maybe it's the engine just exploding as well. That would never help particularly. So I may have even lost power compared to my previous engine, but I trust that it might have more solid torque now. And failing that, I don't really know what to say in its favour. So I'll get it until it's at the highest point for the markets, which is something 0.7. There we go. And let's see how I can get this geared. If I could get it geared with a 2-speed, save a bit of money, nah. I could get a 4-speed. It'd add cost, but you know. Miles per gallon is down. I think I've basically ruined the car. Come on. Ah, I do have the brakes. I was wondering what I could use to perhaps regain some magic from this car. It is slow and it might be heavier than before. No, 814. This is very light. Maybe not by the time standards, but I don't know. Even then, it doesn't seem ridiculously heavy as such. So, 20.6. Wow, look at that 0 to 60 time, eh? It's only got 60 horsepower though. And it's an old vehicle, so I wouldn't go worrying too much about that. Can we adjust to medium compound? Will that change it for the better? No. We can make the tyres smaller again, and the markets do actually indeed like that, but then there is the brakes and the fact that we won't be able to make them better particularly. So 250 there. And on the back 97.1, 0.2. Oh dear. It's so far looking like the brakes need to be ever larger. However, I can't make them any larger. Right, so the next best thing I can do is adjust the brake balance. I might have done this before, actually, to just try and get that extra bit out of them. Yeah, I am getting the bit extra out of them, actually, now, by moving I think more brake force rearwards because the rear brakes are larger, and it kind of balances out. It's quite hard to explain, but oh yes. Look at this now. So we've got more braking force. I'm not sure about the rate, but I think it's quite similar to before. Yeah, this is almost 100 in both statistics. Statistically speaking. Speaking of which, yeah, very, very nice. Remember, we won't have ABS though when driving this. I have staggered the tyres, and believe me, I think it kind of needs it. Given when I last drived it, it could kick the rear out. It's going to have quite vicious braking as well, I suspect. Compared to before though, it will slow the car. It will slow the car better than before. Now, I suspect comfort brakes would be favoured by utility. No, apparently not. At least not significant comfort brakes. They like more racified brakes. Am I building a sports car or a utility vehicle here? Let's be honest. Because they kind of have a lower ride height than certain other classes, and they like sport brakes. Honestly, I think it's just the brakes are so dreadful that you have to go with significantly improved brake pads to get anything out of them. So, yeah, they don't really mind it for that reason. Does it say? I don't know. More from braking power, less brake fade, and better sportiness. But the comfort is better. I don't think comfort is the main concern. Quite frankly, I know these ancient brakes are not going to slow a vehicle. So, yeah, braking force is probably more important than comfort in this particular respect. Speaking of which, we don't have any comfort, but we do have a fair old amount of prestige. For just look at it. I mean, I guess if you compare it to a pickup truck, it does have a certain look to it of premiumness. Premiumness. Can you even call that a thing? I don't know. So, utility. They don't like that. They don't like them wheel spaces, do they? So, how does this look? Yeah, I don't like having them into the body that much, but either way, I flared the wheel arches more than I needed to, so it's not like that's anything majorly wrong with it. Yeah, that works for me, as far as offset. And what else do we have? Same interior stuff, I don't think I'll need to change that. Have a look at changing that, but again, no particular desperate need. Ooh. No. We can't lower the quality of our nothingness. That won't work at all. I'd say that's pretty good though. Got virtually 100 in both classes. I could probably get 100 in both classes if I did some simple tweaking, because you know the value is so close, and that so close below it, and that's so close above it that yeah, it's not going to be that hard. Medium tyres, no, they like long line. How about chunky off-road? No, they don't want chunky off-road. Now, I trust this won't handle as well, though, as it did before with the hard tyres on it. So, what can I say about that? I don't know. Could remove a skid tray. Ooh. Yes. Although I could see why it's necessary, I might actually change that just for the sake of having 100 in both classes. Because that would be a pretty good achievement on my part, I think. Where were we? I'm trying to look for something. Suspension, that's it. So, what do we have? Just got to tweak it. Normal, sport, utility. Yeah, I think it's tweaked more for normal suspension, But it's supposed to be, if this makes sense, it's more the utility vehicle you can use every day, as opposed to a hard, outright working pickup truck. And it's not premium, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't go down the rabbit hole and call it premium, but it's not too bad. That's beginning to look a little tall off the ground for me. Just about finding right balance. I think about 300mm is okay. So 304. And there we go. 0.1. I'm happy with that for wide height. It's probably still too low to the ground. But, you know, I've accepted leaf springs as kind of a fate of a car. And I've accepted that I can't run it as low as I would like. How high is the regular normal? So it reckons, say, that's the average. And I've just hired it just a little to make it more competitive in the utility class. Okay. So, what else do we have that we can tweak? We have the skid tray. Yep. It does take a lot off the market value there, though. At the top. I would say it's worth the money, but probably not, actually. And then I can hopefully readjust this to get some of what I lost back. But I don't know. Come on, 106, 101.6 even. I'm keeping the 3-speed. Unless the 2-speed offers better performance. Which it probably won't. Ooh! Yeah, but 37 seconds to 60. Compared to like 21 seconds. I think it's clear that the speed you can get from it is just worth the extra money. Come on. Wow, 19 seconds. For a time, this is a real quick... This makes real quick use of its power. 18.9. It takes under 19 seconds to get to 60, though. For a regular old vehicle, that's not half bad. For a regular old vehicle from 1948, sorry. If I was saying it about, say, 1985, then it would be very, very slow. Okay, what have we got? I think that's it. I think I've built a car that is more competitive. Given it's more competitive as a Deluar car, I've not built it to Gasmia, so try and market the car there, it will struggle. The best class it's probably got a balance of, I'd say, is Family Sport, which is odd, because it's not a sport car by any means in Deluar, but so it works as a utility. Anyway, all I've got left to do now is do a quick design of a front. I'm going to just throw something together here because I'm got my mind telling me that it's been a long time of recording, so I kind of need to just chuck it together with something that seems vaguely period correct, and I'll call it a day. No, I think I need a bumper. That's how it's going to go down. So we'll have a pair of you. You'll look very, very weird, but hey, chrome shouldn't be too out of place back then. We'll have a grille. I don't want something really strange looking. No, that's not vintage enough. It has to be like this one, exactly. There we go. So... oh, that one's tearing the car apart. You're tearing me apart, Brobley. I think this could be called Mr. Brobley. Mr. Brobley's sensible cousin. Come on. There we go. How's that? That's not as bad as I could do. As I was saying, though, I'm basically throwing something together, so I'm not hugely bothered. I'm not going to be building a big aero car here either. But I'm not hugely bothered about the exact fit and finish. Oops. I brought them out a bit more, but I don't think that's such a bad thing. There we go. All the cooling it should need. We need a badge. Can't forget the badge. Let's have a lion. Not that a car has a heart of a lion, it has the heart of a frog, but, you know. We want to fool all our buyers into thinking they're buying something much better than they are buying. Lion, where are you? I've lost the lion in automation. That's not something I thought I would have said. There we go. This is quite clearly a two-door layout, so I'm going to put the badge on the edge somewhere like I did originally. And it's going to keep the distinctive yellow. That's pretty ugly, but, you know. Come on. You can fit just there. And we need to grab the bumper and place it on the base of the rear section of the car, for lack of a better term. There we go. That'll work for me. There we go. And I've actually thought, do we need the morph to expand the door back? Yeah, make it a bit more practical if we do such. Do that for a bit better aerodynamics, perhaps, which will make a bit less noise in the cabin. Maybe not the most important thing in the 1940s, but hey, I think it is. So, what else do we have? Ah, the bumper, actually. I should probably make it a little narrower. Yeah, so it doesn't look like it's doing weird things. Wait, so make it smaller. There we go. Tail lights. With headlights, we need indicators as well. How could I forget? We need some little indicators here. They can be chrome surrounded in both kind of areas. Chrome, there we go. Maybe not the typical way of putting indicators in a car, but they work. Who's to complain? Tail lights. And I'm just going to stick one of these here to save time, quite frankly. It'll work. It's good enough for me. I know they're probably not the most period correct tail lamps in all of history, but what can I say? Make them chrome so they are a little more period correct. But still, as long as I've got the handles fitted, I'll be reasonably happy with this design. There we go. So, that's not half bad. As I was saying, door handles. Number plates, actually. Add a generic looking plate there. Can't think of where a better place to be would be. And there's not really a way I can fit it with the bumpers on the front. Like, if I fit it there, it'll be under the bumper. I mean, sure, I could do it, but there's no particular benefit to doing it, as I have just removed my bumper, which was so annoying, oh dear. And I've now lost the bumper selection completely. Come on. There we go. Thankfully, it's quite a distinctive bumper, so I had no problem finding one again. I think I just make that wider. There we go. And are you going there? There we go. Done done. So, door handles. They were what we needed next, I think. Come on. My mind is breaking at the moment. I can't find a door handle. I'm sorry. I know it's blindingly obvious somewhere, but I just can't get it. So we need to flip these round. These are the mirrors. Because I actually remembered to add them for once, which is rare. Mainly because I'm just finding the what's-its, and the mirrors came up. So, hey, might as well add a mirror. Why not? Door handle. There we go. I found the door handles. These look vintage enough. At least if I add some chrome to them, they will definitely scream 1940s to 50s. There we go. And we can add a pair in the back as well, which will fit nicely in these corners. Again, do the same thing with the chrome. How is that for the car? So, here I have the car from where I last left it, and it isn't horrible as such, you'll see. Weight balance is reasonable, it makes 60 horsepower, which is, you know, enough, and it gets going in a few seconds. How fast is it? Let's see. Also the markets, let's not forget that. It is the Luha I am on at the moment. 18.9 seconds to 60, sure. Not sure how accurate that actually is in Beam, but that's what it gives me. Being a utility vehicle, actually, an open differential is not the most useful system to have. So, here we have the option to go over 4x4. Please don't crash the game. Which we could do. Amazingly without crashing the game, yes. But it doesn't seem to have that much benefit, as I wouldn't expect. It's mainly a very, very practical estate car, so to have all-wheel drive, or four-wheel drive in this case, I feel is a bit taking it too far in the way of off-road. Do you value your safety? I was just going to say, they do value their safety. If they didn't value their safety, then I could have easily found a way around that. Is this a way we can make more money? 104.1. No, they actually like the galvanised chassis. They think it's quite nice. Dare we even say it? I did experiment before, and solid axle leaf, double wishbone was quite a good combination, and it was, I believe, common on American cars of the time, at least the more premium American cars of the time would have used this kind of setup, even if it's not so much a European setup. There's the what do you call it, boxer engine, or flat 4, or whatever you'd call it, pickup truck. I'm not redesigning it though. I've done so much a job of that, actually designing it to look good. So yeah, we've got mirrors, okay, that's no problem then. We can go with a 4x4 system, although that is added cost that I don't want in the slightest, and it reduces the market but increases the affordability, does it? I think it decreases the affordability, but I just perceived it as increasing the affordability. Okay, that's something. I want 100 on both. I think I said that was what I was aiming for once upon a time, and I'm still aiming for that. Do you value your safety? I was just going to say, they do value their safety. If they didn't value their safety, then I could have easily found a way around that. Is this a way we can make more money? 104.1. No, they actually like the galvanised chassis. They think it's quite nice. Dare we even say it? I did experiment before, and solid axle leaf, double wishbone was quite a good combination, and it was, I believe, common on American cars of the time, at least the more premium American cars of the time would have used this kind of setup, even if it's not so much a European setup. There's the what do you call it, boxer engine, or flat 4, or whatever you'd call it, pickup truck. I'm not redesigning it though. I've done so much a job of that, actually designing it to look good. So yeah, we've got mirrors, okay, that's no problem then. We can go with a 4x4 system. Although that is added cost that I don't want in the slightest. And it reduces the market, but increases the affordability, does it? I think it decreases the affordability, but I just perceived it as increasing the affordability. Okay. That's something. I want 100 on both. I think I said that was what I was aiming for once upon a time. And I'm still aiming for that. Miles per gallon is what it is, but it's 20 miles per gallon. And when this car's going to be thrown about and basically driven to its very limits for its entire life, I don't think it will be getting that. Because 36 horsepower, you're going to have to work it to get anywhere. But still, I think it's time now to export this to BeamNG and see how it does. Also, we do have 53% weight balance, so it is, although slow, better weight balance. Yay. So, here it is. It looks kind of like a vintage SUV from the 1940s, which is basically what it is. And, yeah. It's got the little inline 3 in the front there, as you can hopefully see, and a very basic rear end. Anyway, there's not really much to say about it that you've not seen already, so let's get going. Come on! Whoa, this feels more like, I don't know, 50 horsepower. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the gearbox. It has got 4 gears, remember? Whoa. Help! I've lost my mirrors. I noticed that much. They looked almost like mushrooms, but they were in fact my mirrors. Okay. So, I think if we hopefully change the view, I can learn this stuff eventually. Come on! Locked diff! No, we don't need a locked diff. It got itself out. Very good, actually. This would actually handle broken roads quite well, I guess. It's quite a bit bigger than I thought it would be, though. So, on we go. I won't lie, it handles okay, but the brakes are still a tremendous nightmare. I mean, I knew old brakes were always bad, but how bad? And I knew even that these brakes could be oversteery if I just didn't do a good job of setting them up. But maybe the situation is more detrimental than I thought it might be. It's got that inline 3 distinctive sound to it, but it's got the mufflers. I guess you would need them because this thing without mufflers would probably be a noisy mess. Oh, come on! I'm flooring it now. I think shift down is probably that. Not like this is going to be my fastest lap anyway. I just rolled it at the first corner, which is my issue with making the cars taller. They're more likely to roll. I mean, admittedly, that was more my fault than the car's suspension setup, but still, that was actually very balanced through there. The car didn't feel like it had hints of either sliding too much or understeering too much. That was very nice. Same with the braking there. Oh, I didn't feel like I locked the brakes up particularly. Oh. And there I did have a kind of oversteer kick, just a bit, but it wasn't bad. I mean, whatever this car does is kind of within your control, so whenever it slides out, I'm easily able to correct it. Come on, shift down into first. And I have too many mods, so I don't know how fast I'm going. I do apologise about that. I just don't know what I was thinking when I started doing this. Anyway, yeah, I guess it'll make a good surprise. I am still going to give it my all. Oh. Yeah. There we go. Anyway, we've got rid of that. Right. I think we're okay. I think it's mainly bodywork damage, so don't be too worried about that. It looks horrendous, but I think the actual ladder frame and everything that's attached to it is perfectly fine. Oh, it looks like we've landed on a tree. And maybe taken out our suspension. I didn't think this would be a car I would end up braking by pushing too hard. Come on. Lock your differential. Lock your differential and climb up the hill. There we go. I never knew diff lock would actually have a use in this vehicle. Apparently it does have a use in this vehicle. As I find out how to use reverse gear, and it is actually, it has got some unhealthy camber. I think we can say that much now. It just, I don't know. It's not meant to be driven hard. I don't know what happened to the game there. It just started stammering and really bad, so yeah. And then we have this and it's just continuing as normal. I am now attempting to just keep going as if nothing happened, basically. It seemed to be working, although now I've actually found grip, there's just no traction. When I haven't found grip, there is, when I haven't got any grip, there's no traction, and when I have got grip, there is, the wrong gear. Which is not particularly good, but you know, we've got to deal with something. Whoa. Where's fourth gear? Don't fail me now. Oh, I might know where fourth gear is. Too late for that now. Either way, round this corner we go. I made one too many mistakes. Well, this is actually very tightly ratioed for the type of vehicle that it is, it must be said. And round here we go. The thing is, I feel like I'm not able to use the full potential of the vehicle, weird as it sounds, due to all the chassis bend from that crash, but it actually might be making it quicker due to the fact that it is all kind of manageable. It was manageable already, but it feels like it's somehow become more manageable after the event has happened. Ooh, this way. Oh, come on. No, I thought I could make it over that, and I couldn't, and now everything is wrong. Come on! Speed! Wait, I'm just gonna cheat. Diff power! This was never going to be quick, okay? Whoops. It was never going to be a hugely quick car, so, you know, it's not like it's missing out. It's got 36 horsepower, after all. I mean, what can I say? It's an economy car. So, here we have the finished car, and I'm actually quite pleased with it. I mean, sure, it's a bit of a wreck by the time it's finished, and it looks more like a barn find than an actual car that's just left the factory, but I feel that, you know, it did the job of what it was supposed to do. It improved a design that was otherwise quite incredibly flawed, so for that reason, I would call it a success. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye until another day.